Right then guys, welcome back to another video and a little change of pace on this channel actually. Something that I really want to talk about. Me and you might have seen Gary, we did a podcast together. Go and check it out. I'll try and remember to put the link in the comments and the bio. You can go and watch it. It was really good. We're going to do another 2 soon. And he's probably going to come here and we're going to do a load of different footage as well. So that's going to be unbelievable guys. Podcast coming soon as well. Different format, more like a Top Gear show, but from here. Can't wait to do it. But a little bit of a change of a pace, because the reason I mentioned Gary is Gary's got a kid and he's got one on the way. And me and him have been discussing where this industry heads in the future. And I've seen a changing of the guard within this industry where not many men now want the Lamborghini, 50 women, you know, every single night. They don't really want to sleep around anymore. It's not really their thing. And I think people have realized how hollow it is. I think we've stopped celebrating it. I mean, I saw a video the other day, the 2 twins, I forgot their name. They're from I think they're from the Netherlands. I can't remember their names now. Samuel something. And I've never met him, but I'm sure he's a nice guy. But the video he released is the perfect epitome of where the industry's gone. And I think it's a shame because I think people are making content based around what they think people will buy a course from, which is really sad. And it was like, watch me spend $250,000. Maybe it's fun to watch, but I mean, I just don't think it helps anybody. You know, I haven't watched it myself, but I imagine it's a lot of, you know, women checking them out, a lot of yachts, a lot of cars, a lot of ace of spades with sparklers in them. And it's just like, mate, I get it, they're younger, but I think it's just had its day, and I think a lot of people are at the same point now where the same people watching those videos are the same people keeping the Fast and Furious franchise alive. It's the exact same people. You know, they're the ones that like, you know, expensive shit, fast cars, whatnot, and it's the rest of the world are a little bit like, yeah, all right, mate, fair enough, good on you. Like, you don't have to hate on it to not agree with it. But I think most people now just want, you know, just a really good life. Not everybody wants a yacht and 50 escorts on the yacht and stuff like that. I think a lot of people are gravitating more towards I want one great solid woman. I want to build a family. I want to build something beautiful. And that's what this video is going to be about, okay? And I think this is where the industry heads in the future. This is why I mentioned Gary, because that's what me and him have been discussing. His channel is called Allman, which is ALLMAN. We see it very much as I take guys from 18 to 30, and then from 30 onwards, it's the next kind of evolution of what they need from there. Once they've achieved male advantage, okay, let's build stability, let's find something. So the reason I made this video is it's going to be titled, Show Me King Treatment, okay? The reason I've made this is because I see a changing of the guard. You can only have one thing for so long. You can only have supply in one direction for so long before it has to change, okay? The supply and demand is, right now, it's princess treatment, it's guys spoiling women, and it's created a system that can't continue. And I'm not saying this in a negative sense, I'm not blaming women, I'm just saying it cannot continue. This is just how the world works. One thing is in demand, then there's too much of that one thing, so then it changes and it goes the other way. This is what's going to happen now, okay? And I've had to make some notes on this, which I don't like doing because then it's not authentic. But I basically ran the perfect words through my head earlier while I was cooking. And I was like, I have to say them to the guys because this is so important. So there's roughly, like, from any guy's point of view, like 300 million beautiful women in the world at any given time, right? And here's the thing, they all want attention. That's not a negative, just female nature. They all want attention, they all want people looking at them, they all want likes and stuff like that. There's not enough time in your day to be able to take care of that. There's too many on the market, if that makes sense. You don't have enough time in the day to even consider looking at, like, you go on social media right now, you can scroll through TikTok, you can find the world's most beautiful woman. Within about 20 scrolls, you could find a woman that looks very similar to her. Within another 30 scrolls, probably the same again. Then the algorithm starts to realize who you like, and it will find 20, 30 of those women in a row for you. It's not hard to find, which means what you're going to do, show love to every single one of them, show attention to every single one of them. It can't really continue, okay? There's too many beautiful women in the world. Men don't have enough time to do it. And here's the biggest problem, okay? princess treatment has become whoever has the biggest bank balance, which is sad because this is no system defining love and stability. If a guy has more money than you and he can provide more stuff, he can pay for more stuff. It doesn't mean he loves her more than you do. It doesn't mean he wants her more than you do. It doesn't mean he's a better man than you, but that has become the modern metric. How much money can you spend on me to prove that you love me for princess treatment? I don't know when we taught young women this, but that is no metric for a quality of a relationship. That is no metric for you're going to have a good life with that guy. He's going to treat you right. You're a trophy. You're a trophy on the arm. Yeah, does it feel good? Does everyone want to experience it? I'm sure a lot of women want to experience that. I'm sure they want to see what it feels like to be with a mega rich man and just get flown around the world. But most will come to the same conclusion that it's kind of hollow, it's kind of pointless. You know, it's not all rich, ultra rich men that are, you know, terrible people. And take it for somebody that is considered top 0.1%. So I'm not coming from a hateful position here. But if somebody's got a bigger bank balance than you, they can apparently provide more of that princess treatment. That can't continue. That can't continue. Just as sports, transfer markets, they have salary caps because the market becomes inflated. It's just like there's only so much that you can keep doing before the bubble just bursts and people just go, I don't want to do this anymore. This doesn't make sense. And I'll give you guys a great example. I personally don't want to keep spending big bankrolls for dinner dates on strangers. That doesn't really appeal to me. You know, like the Drake quote, which I've said many a time before, gallery of credit card swipes, I don't even know if she's a wife. The average man can't afford that. The average man can't do it. You know, imagine the transportation costs, the new clothes that you require, you know, the amount of washing and cleaning you have to constantly do to make sure your clothes are ready. And, you know, you've got a date tonight. Okay, I have to go and pick her up. I have to go and order an Uber. I have to book the restaurant. I have to do... You don't have enough time to do that with too many women. You don't have the money. You know, even if you're rich as hell, it's just you're spending a big bankroll on strangers. It's not sustainable. It's not a sustainable method, okay? So what am I telling you to do? Don't date? No, not at all. I don't think the answer is don't date. I just think the system needs to change. And here's where I think it's going. I don't think there's many women showing men king treatment. So this is the point that I've got to in the last year or two. I date, but I don't go overboard like I used to, okay? And I'm very casual with it, and I don't overly commit to anybody, and I certainly don't do princess treatment. I show a level of interest, but I don't do princess treatment. Because the market is overinflated, because I'm looking for something of value. I'm looking for somebody that I can have kids with. I'm 32 years old. I want something like that now. I date a lot of women and I wait for the best one to show themselves. Like, I think it's now the female job to provide king treatment. Do you know why? Because nobody's doing it. And like if I had a woman that I just found moderately attractive and I was like, yeah, she's attractive. I like her. She's got a great personality. But she provided that king treatment. She was always there. She'd make an effort. If I said, I want to meet you for a date tonight, we organize something and whatnot, and she was like, okay, I'll meet you outside the station, or I can get myself there, I'll just meet you at the restaurant, I'd be like, oh, this is different. Or if you can come pick me up, I'll give you like £40 fuel money. Then I'd be like, okay, this is different. That means a lot. I would pick that woman over somebody who's considered a straight 10. I wouldn't used to, I'll be honest with you guys, I wouldn't used to, but at 32 years old, I think a lot of maturity has happened in my life. I've enjoyed beautiful women, and I think I'm just at a point where I'm like, where's the king treatment in reverse? Because I'm at a point in my life now where you've achieved success, physique, life setup, all that stuff. When people say, who's the prize, I think it's obvious to me now. I do. I'm not trying to be arrogant there, but I think it's obvious. I think I've got to a position where I'm like, I want equality, but I'm a catch. Like, I think that's fair enough to say. Like, you've done a few things in life that most people aren't willing to do. You go, you're getting up at 5 a.m., you're smashing the gym, you're coming back, you're working on your business, you're making 10, 20 times more than the average guy. Like you've done some stuff. Do you know what I mean? You dress well, you smell good, you're a decent person, you take care of people, you've got good morals, you prove that to yourself. Like you've got things to provide, okay? You can be confident within that. So then why should I compete with a guy who's worth 200 million who can outspend me? Because if it becomes a bidding war, pretty much everyone's going to lose. There's going to be one guy, the richest guy. So that isn't how it can work. Do you know what I mean? That system cannot work. So the princess treatment just doesn't really hold true. Now, if there's a level to it, if it's like, just treat me good enough and I can see that you're interested, hey, I'm happy to do that. But I think this is the way the world needs to go now, is that the women that say to the men, look, let's say a man's dating like 10, 15 women at any given time, which high-level guys are. I'm sorry to tell you women, but they are. The best one needs to present herself. The best one needs to come to the forefront and be like, it's me. Like, I'm the one who's most committed to you. I'm the one who's not playing games. I'm the one who responds to your messages quickly. I'm the one who is messaging you to meet. I want to see you often. I want to build something. When I'm in the house with you and we've eaten food and whatnot, I'll help clean up. You know, if you're too tired to drive, I'm happy to get public transport. I'll get myself home. That level of treatment, you know, where it is equality, where you look at it and you go, she actually genuinely cares about me rather than just who's going to spoil me the most. I think a lot of guys have gotten to that situation now, where they're like, I don't want to drop a big bank balance on strangers. You know, you're happy to do it when you're in a loving relationship. You're like, I'm happy to spend a few £1,000s on this woman. She's the only one I want. Like, that's different. But when it's constant strangers, big bank balances, I don't think it makes sense, right? And here's what I think is going to happen. And this is a message for you women out there as well. If you're watching this, just show a guy a shit ton of king treatment. Just start really spoiling him. And it doesn't mean like buying gifts and stuff like that. It's just time. It's just attention. It's just making sure he's okay, reaching out and stuff like that. Just wanting to just be interested in what he does. And if you don't want to do that, you don't like him. If you don't want to do that, you're probably not a good person. You're probably not wife, marriage material. And I think here's what's going to happen, right? There's going to be a lot of 30+ former beauty queens who are really pissed off in the next generation or the next 10 years or so. Because what they're going to be seeing is moderately attractive women or, you know, on the surface, average-looking women with the great men, with the highest level men, because they're the women that are going to realize, okay, I need to do more to be able to land a man like that. I need to be able to offer something. And to some extent, guys, truth be told, you actually see that already. You really do. Like the most successful men on the planet, the highest level men, they are just with really good women. Like you think of Patrick Mahomes. And look, here's the thing. I'm not saying anybody's wife is ugly and everything is, you know, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. But she wouldn't be modeling for a top agency. And she's not, you know, she's not ugly by any stretch of the imagination, but she's not, like, he could get pretty much anybody he wants on planet Earth. He could get a supermodel, he could get, but the woman that he's got is solid. She's fantastic for him. You think of David Gandy. David Gandy has dated celebrities. He's got every woman in the world thinking he's the most beautiful man in the world. He's with somebody that is an extremely beautiful woman, but she carries a lot of other qualities and she wouldn't be stereotypically like a supermodel. Do you know what I mean? He's around supermodels all the time. He's with a woman that is, oh yeah, she's pretty, but I think any of you guys could land her. Do you know what I mean? Like she's the girl at school that probably everybody was dating. This is what tends to happen. Successful guys, high-level guys, they go, no, I've got a lot of value. I want somebody who recognizes that. I don't want, you know, I don't want to do the Russian doll thing. That's one thing I really don't want to do is just have this beauty queen on my arm who just looks pretty. It's not something that really appeals to me. It really isn't, guys. It's not something that is jumping out at me, and I think that's the way society is going. If princess treatment, prove it to me. But I'm just dropping a bankroll on a stranger. And I think the one thing that hasn't happened yet, or will happen again, because I think it used to happen in the past, is women reverting back to and realizing that they're going to have to put the effort in. Because, you know, women say, oh, where do I find a husband? How am I going to settle down? How am I going to get married? Where am I going to find the one? It's stop thinking about it as a one-way transaction. Stop thinking about it as he needs to prove it to me. He needs to find me. He needs to show that. They've put that in your head, but it doesn't work like that, because when a man chases a woman, you lose interest for him anyway. It's you that needs to chase. It's you that needs to put the effort in. It's you that needs to travel to go and see him. Not on the first date. On the first date, if the man needs to travel to your area to make sure you feel safe, I understand that. But second time, third time, you need to see some effort. You need to see, okay, I'll come to you this time because I trust you now. You did it for me last time. I'll do it this time. I'll bear the brunt of the cost, and I'll come to see you. Under those circumstances, I would take that woman so seriously. Okay? And look, here's the thing. Oh, who are you getting the advice from? I'm 6'2", top 0.1% income, and in great shape. And I'm not. Look, I don't think I'm anything special, but that's the boxes that everyone wants ticked. So it might not be me, but it might be another guy that fits that bracket. But it's coming from somebody who has all of that in place. Okay, so it's not coming from a hater's perspective. That is the key to the next generation. So you guys watching this, obviously my channel is obviously for you guys, for the men. What do you need to do? What's your role in this? How do you make this work? Well, stop devaluing yourself. Stop chasing after women. Stop dropping these massive bankrolls on dates that they don't value anyway. It's not that every woman wants a free meal out of you. There's a lot of women that are hoping you're going to be great, but you're dropping a big bank balance on a stranger. That just seems silly to me. Why? Because she's beautiful. Like I said, there's about 300 million beautiful women on the planet, and they all want attention. They all want princess treatment, and there's always a higher bidder. So it's to say, it's just not a sustainable strategy. I just don't see how that's going to work. The only strategy I see working is, I think, as men, you should do marathon mindset. You should meet as many women as possible, as many women that you find attractive, just based on having general normal conversations from day to day, and then just wait for the best one to surface. So don't chase, don't whatever, just get on with your life, do what you do. And the one that's consistently reaching out, the one that's always messaging you, wondering how you are, making sure that, how'd that event go? She knew you had a meeting, a big business meeting, and she's the only one who reached out and went, how'd it go? That's your wife. That's the woman that you should probably have kids with, the woman you should settle down with if you don't want to get married, as I've said on this channel for years. That's the one that you should look at and be like, okay, that's sustainable. That's who I need to build with. Okay, you just need to find as many women as you can that you find attractive. Maybe you've got 40, 50 in your phone book. Maybe you've gone on dates with 3 or 4 of them, the ones that you thought would be the best ones. But don't waste your time. Never chase, don't waste your time, because as much as who's the prize, it's very obvious who's the prize, okay? Because there's not many highly successful men who are in shape, who are good people, who can provide, who can offer whatever. But there's roughly about 300 million beautiful women, according to data and whatnot and stuff like that. That's a plethora. That's easy. It's easy. It's easy to find a beautiful woman. It's very hard to find a good man. So based on that metric, you shouldn't have like 3 multimillionaires all competing and spending bigger bank balances on these women. Now, if you've got a lot of money and you want to have fun, you just want to stay single and date, that's for you, okay? Go and enjoy yourself. But if you're trying to find somebody to settle down with, which most guys are now, I see the narrative changing. I've actually shocked how many more people are religious now. Like, I've really been looking into it myself and considering that idea, that ideology. Especially as I move towards the family years and stuff like that. And it's crazy to see, it's great to see, but it's crazy to see how many, with Trump getting into power and seeing how many more people are, as they say, God-fearing people in America, which I've always found a strange saying, God-fearing. I don't think fearing should be the right word, but it's the narrative that's been spun out there, so people use it. I don't fear anybody, wouldn't get on my knees for any man, put it that way. But I like the idea of the whole, I like the idea of religion. Not because it's popular now, so people have used it for course sales and whatnot. I won't name them, 2 brothers. But I do think that's the way the world's moving. And I think it's going to go back to old school values, because it has to. There can't be that many single women just going out on dates and being like, all these men are assholes. And she's like 22 and the guy's 58, because that's the only level of wealth that can be required. Like, that can't continue. People aren't valuing people anymore. And what's going to happen is you're going to have great men with, and they don't have to be average looking or whatever, but it's going to be, just attractive, moderately attractive women with a lot of personality, with a lot of qualities, who have given king treatment to the man. He's gone, do you know what? Wow, I actually really like you. You've proven yourself to me. And it didn't cost him an arm or a leg. He sees sustainability. They have shared values, and that's who's going to pair off. And what you're going to have is all these beautiful social media girls, all these prom queens and models and stuff like that, with no one. nowhere to turn, because their level of demands, their level of requirements in terms of princess treatment has just gone off the scale. You know, the notion of my husband would never do that. My husband would buy that for me. My husband would chase me when I reject him. He would come after me 100 times. You've lost the plot. You've lost the plot. Don't want to use the word delusional because it gets used too much, but you've lost the plot. Like, you've lost something up here. That's not how human behavior works. Like, your ego's grown too much. You've become a little bit too narcissistic there. You think you're too great. People have thirsted over you for too long. Humble yourself, bring it back down to earth, and realize that you're a human. You have to contribute to society. And just because you're more attractive than other people, or you get told so, I mean, it doesn't really mean a lot. It's nice to look at, but people get bored of beauty. People get bored of a 10. They do. You have sex with somebody too many times, you get bored of that. It loses all meaning. It's the connection between two people and what they're building. It's the shared values, what they're trying to aim towards together. So my advice for the women out there is start giving men king treatment, because if you're the one that stands out, if you get your heart broken, he goes off with someone else, that's his mistake. But, you know, it's the best method. And my advice for the men out there who are consistently watching this channel and wondering what their next step is, date a range of women, be open to the idea of, you know, meet people based on personality, and then if you find them attractive, because that's important. So what you do, marathon mindset, you talk to everybody, you just have a general conversation, and you realize that person's really cool, she's funny, she's not my normal type, but I do find her slightly attractive. That's enough. That's all you need. That ticks the box. And then you go, do you want to go for a drink? And then you just see where it evolves, right? You do that, and you could have one model, you could have a girl who's like a 6, and I hate using this scale, but it easily explains things. And it's all across the board. It's all random. It's all these random women that you're dating. And the one that's like a 7.1 just is the best woman, and she jumps out at you. And you go, she treats me the best. She's the one that I like spending the time with the most. I'm going to dedicate everything to her and see where it goes. That's, I think, the future. Because I think guys are spending way too much money on women. I think they're spending too much time on women. And it's not a sustainable future. And you're not being valued as a man. That's not good. It should be equal. It should be both ways. It should be, you know, we provide as much value to each other as, you know, you don't want to have a child with a beautiful beauty queen, and then you're the one doing all the work, getting up in the middle of the night, changing the diapers and whatnot, and you realize, shit, she's actually a really bad mother. Like, you don't want to do that. Like, she might not be, but you don't want to do that. You don't want her to be like, oh God, I don't want to get my hands dirty. You're like, clean the shit. What are you talking about? Like, you want to know that before you settle down with somebody. So for me, I think it's time that we just rubbish this princess treatment. That needs to go. It's a Disney fantasy. It's a little bit of garbage. I'll treat you well, but I'll treat you well morally. I'll make sure you're safe. I'll look after you, but I've got standards. If I don't see it coming back the other way, or you're not hyper interested to see me, you don't want to come and see me all the time, you're not messaging me, calling me out of the blue, being like, I miss you. There's too many beautiful women in the world for me to care. I will just move on, and just whoever surfaces and shows that they do have that level of dedication is going to be the woman that gets the princess treatment on the other end once they've proven. You know, you prove it to me, and then you'll get that in return, and you'll be the only one who gets that, and you'll be the woman who has all the assets, the husband that everyone wants to be with, the perfect life, kids, ring on the finger, traveling the world. That's the female job now. I think the world's changed. I think that social media's ruined it. Social media's ruined it for men. Like, you have to, like, the richest guy wins, the guy, you know, who's willing to be the simpiest wins. That's not, well, doesn't really win, but, you know, he gets the date and he sets a new standard, and then other guys who actually have standards, who are the good men, go, well, I'm not doing that. I'm not paying for that. It's unacceptable. I'm not paying for your gym membership. Like, you pay for your own gym membership. Yeah, but it's an investment in me. It keeps me in shape. It's wild. Like, you've lost the plot. Like, I wouldn't do that for anybody. That's insane. So, you know, it's strange. But I think the guys that look for that one high quality woman now and build something like that and have the purpose of family to chase after are going to be the ones that excel in this next generation, because I just see a lot of lost souls. Now, I still practice my teachings of, I think men should stay single for longer. I think men should be selfish. I don't think men should date until they've got money. I still preach all of that, and I think men should wait longer because I think there's nothing that ruins your finances and your time like having 2 or 3 kids at like 25 and you've got a normal 9 to 5 job. Your relationship's probably going to end. Now you're a guy who's 30 years old with 2 kids trying to find another woman. It's difficult. It's difficult. But once you get nearer my age, closer to 30, I think that's what you should be looking for. Somebody that you can build with. Now, enjoy yourself, have fun, make a bit of money, date a few beautiful women. Every guy needs to do it to learn, what the truth is. But beauty is certainly no barometer for quality of person. Certainly no quality. Now, do you want to find somebody attractive? Yes. Do they have to be the most attractive person out of the group of women that you're dating? No, of course not. You just need to find them attractive and value them as a human being. And then if they do the same with you and they're showing the most, it's like if you advertised for a job and like the most qualified person was like, I don't know, I'll probably work 2 days a week, I'll show up late, can't really be bothered. Where do you see yourself in 5 years' time? I don't know, just fucking, driving a Ferrari. You'd be like, I don't really want to hire you. Whereas if somebody came in that was like underqualified, but they were like, I really want this job, I'd be so passionate, I've got all these ideas, I've wanted to be in this industry for so long, and I just want to learn, and I'm willing to do 10 years in this industry, I'm willing to do whatever it takes, I'm hiring that person. It would be the same if you're picking your life partner, which is probably the most important decision of your life. So I think princess treatment needs to end because it's just Disney-fied. I don't like it. I think it should just be 2 people treating each other well. And I think king treatment needs to begin because if a man has that many options or whatnot, he needs to know who's the one that wants him most. Show that you want that guy the most, he'll probably pick you. For every one high-level guy, there's probably like 2,000, 3,000, 5,000 beautiful women. The numbers just don't check out. It can't be the other way around. It doesn't check out. It's not going to work, So otherwise what we're going to have, and I think this is purpose by design. I think this has happened from, societal changes. I think music is a big one. I mean, they call it the uncanny valley. If you look at somebody like Sabrina Carpenter, and a lot of these like Megan Thee Stallion rappers now, when they're doing like that sort of stuff, and it's like an over-exaggerated face, it doesn't look like it's human behavior. Everything is very childish, very girly, very Disney princess-like. It's not, the type of behavior that a high-level man would want. They look at it and go, that's weird, that's childish. That's what's happened now. Society is pushing that narrative. I think music has pushed that narrative. I heard 50 Cent say recently that the words that you say or listen to or sing in songs, they become part of your subconscious. And I think that's what's happened. When you hear somebody like Megan Thee Stallion or Cardi B say something outlandish like, I need somebody, 8 figures? I need a guy with 8 figures, something like that. You really don't, but it will get seeped into the psychology, and then that's what you're looking for. How much do you make a year? And you think that's part of who you are, but this is what I want. It's like, it isn't. It really isn't. It's just been seeped into your brain. So then, as I said again, this isn't all women. Like, let's not start trashing women and dragging them through the bush. But society has built it this way to destroy the typical family values. It's just people spend more. People spend more when they're single. People spend more when they've got, more family ties. Like, money can exchange quicker. When you've got 2 kids here, 2 kids here, 2 kids here, 3 women on the go, 10 women on the go, you're distracted. You're not worried about world events. You're not worried about things that actually matter. You're not worried about what investment should you make. You're more worried about where's the next fuck coming from, which is awful. And I think if there's any women out there watching this, you need to provide the king treatment to the men. That's what you need to do. Show, and it isn't, I'm going to suck his dick 8 times a day. I'm going to make sure, I'm available for sex in lingerie and heels. That's not it. That's a childish way of looking at it. Like, please don't think that. Please don't comment things like that because it's not the level of intellect that we have on this channel. It's things like, maybe he's been out all day, he comes home and you do actually cook something. Doesn't mean you have to be in the kitchen all day and all this stuff. But you'd expect him to do the same for you. To be like, I made myself some food and I made you some too. Very simple. Or, it could be as simple as, I'll meet you halfway then. If you're traveling there and there, I'll meet you halfway, make it easier for you. Little things like that. Or, you need to take, I had a girlfriend once and I had to take an envelope to the post office, but I was out all day And I rushed home and I was like, she was like, what are you doing? I was like, I need to grab that envelope, drop it off before 5. It needs to go. She was like, oh, I went and did it for you earlier. Like that, I'm telling you. Those little acts where you just go, wow, like she genuinely gives a shit and actually wants to help me. Like she's genuinely asking me questions about my business and why I would do it. She's like, I don't quite understand it, but like, why are you doing it? Like, would that work? Like I believe in you. I really think you could push forward with this. I think if you did that and that, yeah, I believe, like that goes so far as a man. That goes so far as a man because nobody cares about us. You know, it isn't a sad story, but nobody cares about us. Nobody really cares whether you win, lose, whatnot. Most people want you to lose. It's only like your mom and your family and whatnot that really care about you. So when you find a woman that's like, how'd you get on today? How'd the meeting go? How'd the interview go on? Oh my God, I'm so happy for you. Like we should celebrate. I'm going to go to the shop now and go and buy this, this, and this. I know it's your favorite meal. I'm going to make it for you because we would do that for you. Because men, I actually truly believe men are good people morally. And when you find a woman that does that, that's the woman that gets wifed. It's not the beauty queen with the BBL and stuff like that. I promise you out there, whoever's listening, that's not what men are looking for. The narrative needs to change. And women, if you listen to this, king treatment, I guarantee you, and via the methods that I just explained. You don't have to go, oh, my man gets sex whenever he wants. You don't have to do that. You're not a slave. It's the little acts. It's the acknowledgements. It's the fact that when he does pay for dinner, it's like, thank you. Like, I really appreciate you doing that. Like, you know, and then when something else happens, you're like, it's okay, I'll go and do that because you got dinner. You know, he could be richer than you, and you're like, I can't pay for things that you pay for. Like, you've booked us a holiday. I can't pay for that. I don't make as much money as you. But I'm going to return that love in my own way by taking care of you, looking after you, mentioning something, like bringing something up, helping you with something, you know, going in, you know, just asking you how the meeting went, remembering things and whatnot. I promise you it goes a long way. Everyone thinks it's like men need to do that for women. Love is a two-way system. And that's what a lot of men need to start looking for now. Who is the woman who is showing you the most attention? Who is the woman that's most excited to see you, who wants to see you most often? Who's the woman that keeps blowing up your phone and you're like, oh, her again? Consider it. Consider it, because that's probably the one that it's going to last with. I promise you guys. And look, it doesn't have to be ugly. It doesn't have to be, oh, the two that keeps blowing me up. You can still find her attractive. It's just the balance. It's like, that's how it starts. You put a pool of women in the dating circle and you're like, I'm dating like 15 different women at once. And I'm going to cut that one off because I don't like that behavior. I'm going to cut that one off. I'm going to cut that one off. And then at some point, you're just like, she's by far the best one. I find her attractive. I find all of them attractive, but she's by far the best one. She keeps doing the most. She keeps putting the most effort in. She wants to spend the most time with me. Like, she doesn't want to leave the house when I'm like, when I'm dropping her off. She's like, I don't want to leave. Like, I wish I could stay another night. And before she's gone, she's maybe cleaned up. She's maybe gone and done something. Or you've said, yeah, I just need to pop out and get toilet paper before she arrives. And she's like, it's okay, I can grab that on the way. It's little things like that, guys, I promise you. Look out for those little things, and I think that's where the future of the industry is going. None of this, like I said, those guys are young. Can't remember their names now. It begins with an O, doesn't it? Samuel O. So I can't remember him and his brother. I'm sure they're great people. I'm sure they are. I'm not saying that for a second. But I think that way of the industry is going to change. I think seeing Iman Gadzhi going to, I'm going to drop 1.8 million on cars today. Great, you do you, mate. Like you've obviously put some level of work in. You've obviously done something to allow that to happen. So I do congratulate you, but it's not benefiting anybody. It's just a marketing system to keep people buying your 10K course. Like I don't know. I just don't see any longevity in that. I think it's a very GQ model, like buy our products, buy our products, buy our products, which sucks. So everything's an ad. Everything's like funding themselves. It's very selfish, and I just think the future will be the guy who has a solid woman, solid family, is preaching the right values. I think that's the way the industry is going to go moving forward. And I think that's how you guys find it. And women out there, I think you need to start giving men king treatment. And guys, look out for the woman that does do that to you. I think that's where the future of this industry goes. That's where the future relationships goes. And I think, as I predicted once before, I'll predict it again. I'm pretty good at these things. There will be a lot of former beautiful 30-year-old women. You know, they're not ugly at that stage, but they'll be 30 years old. They don't look like they did when they were 22. A lot of the guys that they used to date have moved on and found other women, maybe even younger women. And they're doing the same thing on repeat with these women. And they're kind of like in this purgatory zone where they're used to like yachts, jets, and this level of treatment, or at least the princess treatment. And the guys that now want them are moderately average or just like, you know, 6 figures, which is extremely good. And they're just numb to it. They're like, oh yeah, but I don't want the guys. The guys that I want don't want me. And we're hearing this a lot now. And the world's going to be very disgruntled. And they're going to look at the woman who is like a 7 out of 10. And they're going to go, well, she fucking got that I haven't got. That's what it is. It's the stinky attitude. It's the expectation. It's the fact that we know that that 7 out of 10 that we find really attractive because we've gotten to know her is 10 times the woman that you will ever be. And that's what successful guys who have put the work in, who have been through life, who have got the experience, they're not stupid. They're not stupid. They know what they're looking for and they know who can provide it. They've hired thousands of employees. They know what to look for in a good person. They're not worried about like a beauty queen. They'll use you. They won't marry you. And that's the problem with the world right now. Everybody's expecting a certain level of treatment, and in my opinion, it doesn't work. So enjoy yourself, guys. I'll catch you all soon.